Hi, my name is Ron Lehman. I'm from the Faux School. Today I'm going to show you a basic application using a product we call Ice Pearlescent Plaster. Ice Pearlescent Plaster is a water-based architectural coating, and it's basically a tint base. Well, not basically, it is a tint base. You have to add pigment into the product to get the color you want. The cool thing about ice, unlike a lot of other products out there, we have two bases. We have a pearlescent base and we have a gold base. The biggest thing is the pearl base, when you add blue to it, is blue. Red is red, not pink. If you put blue into gold, you kind of get greenish. So keep that in mind. And there's a lot more about that technical stuff on the website. But let's get started. I'm going to show you how to apply our ice metallic plaster. Okay, so what I've done first is I've base coated the surface, or the wall in this case, using our Quartz Primer. The reason I use the Quartz Primer is actually it's a dead flat, has a lot of tooth to it. It's very bitey, very grippy. If you look at it under a microscope, it's going to have like a lot of texture to it. So when I put this plaster on top of it, it's going to stick to it instead of sliding off. And that's what we want. We don't want it to slip and slide across the surface for the first coat. We want the plaster to stick to it and hold it in its place. So, real quick, the Quartz Primer is a water-based product. It's called Quartz Primer just because it's the name. There's actually no quartz properties to it whatsoever, but it's just a thick, heavy primer. Goes on dead flat, dries to a smooth finish, and sticks to everything and anything. It's an interior, exterior plaster primer. It'll stick to PVC pipe. It'll stick to cement. It sticks great to everything. So, if I'm not doing a glaze finish, if I'm doing a plaster or something I need a flat primer for, I go to this Quartz for everything and anything and everything. Okay, so we're going to get started with the ice metallic plaster. So the first thing I have done is I've taken the pearl base, because I talked about previously, it comes in two bases. It's a tint base, that's why I keep saying base. The bases are a pearlescent base or a gold base. So in this case I took the pearlescent tint base and I've added the color to it on the system, and I've got this really pretty magenta that we're going to use. This is a client sample, and this is going in a little girl's room. That's why this color is the way it is. So the first thing we're going to get, so we have our ice metallic plaster pearl base. We've tinted it the magenta color. We have a plastic trowel for this application, and our spatula. Why a plastic trowel? No particular reason, it's just a stainless steel trowel. I don't really need it. I guess mainly, well, for the burnishing application. The stainless could leave some black marks. I mean, could. It's not, you do a test spot to see, but when I go to burnish this, to compress the plaster like we do with the Venetians, I'm going to put in some friction to it. It's going to compress it, make it shiny, lustery shiny, not shiny like a Venetian, but luster. The pearlescent is going to pop. And the stainless steel trowels have a lot of carbon in them. Even the really good ones still have some carbon in them. This is a very soft, delicate plaster, so I'm going to go with the plastic as a safety precaution. So the first thing I'm going to do is take and load my trowel up with some plaster or some ice. And I'm going to go ahead and just start putting that first coat on. If that was my ceiling, I'll come across, come down. Keep my spatula handy, gather up the loose, come down this way, come across. Make sure you're always giving it that nice visual that interest that we're looking for. Come up here, let's bring it down. The plastic trowel is a little awkward compared to the stainless trowels. These have a really steep angle on the side that you have to be aware of, meaning the edge of this trowel is real hard, so you don't have the it just takes a little bit of getting used to. Like I said, it's a little different than the Venetians. They're a nice soft taper. These are not tapered at all. These are like a big old ramp. Gather up my extra, and I'm just going to take a couple quick passes. Clean up the loose, and we'll let this first coat dry overnight. That's our first step. We troweled on the first coat of ice metallic plaster. We're going to let this dry, come back to a second application. We'll see in just a little bit. Okay, the first coat is completely dry. We're ready to move on. You can kind of start to see where it's a little thicker, some of that metallic, where it shimmers. When I say metallic, it's not going to be like boom in your face, bright shimmering metallic. It's a nice, soft, subtle metallic, and as we get farther and farther through this process, you'll start to see that happen. Next step, same exact thing as we just did. Same process. Second coat. We just want to get that full depth of color. On a project, I would probably have tinted the primer red, but for this, I wanted to make sure you could see everything. And what's really neat, unfortunately, there's no way for you to figure this out, but until you actually put your hands on the product, every coat you apply, the smoother this gets. You should be able to see this as we go along. But the plaster was, or I keep saying plaster. It's a plaster consistency, but it's technically not a plaster. The ice pearlescent plaster sticks to itself better than it sticks to the primer. So the first coat goes on a little weird. The second coat just goes on a lot smoother, just a lot nicer, very buttery. For this finish, we're only going to need 3 coats. I know that sounds like a lot, but it's really pretty when it's finished and you get that soft, soft luster that we're going for. And the color possibilities are just endless. You should be able to hear the difference as this goes on if it's picking it up. It's a little rough still, but the next one will just float across, very soft. It's almost like velvet. The feel of it when you finish and you put your hands on it, it'll just kind of feel very velvety. And you notice when I'm coming across, I'm kind of just changing my patterns up a little bit. And that's because the light's going to hit it differently. If I kept going this way, the light's going to hit it all the exact same angle. So by changing my pattern up a little bit, or the method of application, you're going to see all this different stuff happening. That's a good thing and a bad thing, meaning if you get crazy and like go all over the place, real busybody, that's going to show up here on your surface and be really obnoxious in the room. All right, so there we go. That's our that's our second coat. Gather up any loose material. Gathered. There you have it. We're going to let this dry a few hours, come back and do our third and final coat. See you in just a little bit. Okay, so we've let the ice metallic plaster dry completely to the touch. We've pulled the tape off, obviously. And here you see what it looks like when it's finished. Now, I have a light directly overhead to kind of show you how much shimmer you can get off of this. So depending on the lighting in the room, it's going to have a lot of impact on what you're going to do and how you're going to do, even your colors. But I did compress this a lot for this product. And as it dries, it shrinks. So it gets even more reflective quality to it as it shrinks. So that's what it looks like. It's pretty bright. Actually, pretty shiny. And it's kind of fun. But when you look at it directly on, as you are, it doesn't look so shiny. It's got a nice, soft, subtle texture to it. And if you can see the soft movements here, here's some nice movement to it. But it's a real pretty fun finish. So, and the cool thing is any color possible. If you order it directly from the school, we can tint it to any color that matches up to Sherwin-Williams. So you would just grab their fan deck, pick out a color, we'll match it up perfectly in the pearlescent base. Now remember, it comes in a gold base. So the gold base is a little bit different. It's kind of thinking of, if you take the pearl base and put blue into pearl, you're going to get blue. You put the blue into the gold base, it's going to be a little bit more on the green side. Not like green, but it's going to go bluish green, so you got to keep that in mind. It's really cool if you're just trying to get those rich, vibrant golds and honey tones. The gold base is perfect. But for a lot of applications, the pearl base is true dead on to the color that you choose. You put the blue into the pearl, you get the blue. You put the purple into the pearl, you get purple. If you put red into it, you get red. And the cool thing is red doesn't go pink. Red stays true to the red in this product. If you put a pinch of black in, you get that nice smoky gray. So there you have it, ice pearlescent plaster. My name is Ron Lehman. I'm from the Faux School. Be sure to check out the website at thefauxschool.com. Thanks for watching.